and dealing with them one by one is much more ideal than the huge crowds that we were dealing with originally, so that is just great. Do I want to forget the whole level just to find this son of a gun? I guess it's kind of the easiest way from a quality of life perspective, even if it takes a few extra 100 turns to do so. Oh, you know, maybe it actually didn't really add that many turns, seeing as how I didn't even think that our buddy would have come up this way, or at least not gone that far in such a short time span. And how are we looking now? Slightly better? No, still a lot of friends. Let's see how much damage we take on our way down, and at least only a few of them can surround us up here, so that is slightly more manageable. I do want to kill the Invoker. I guess it doesn't matter quite as much in this context, seeing as how they don't have a lot to pull on, but definitely don't want any unexpected surprises here one way or another. And let's just keep rinsing and repeating here. Again, not my favorite thing in the world to do some stair dancing shenanigans, but feeling a little bit desperate here on the cat, so I'm gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall to make it happen. Because I definitely would prefer to have a little bit less fun just to get through this in one piece in this specific case. Felid's not my favorite characters to be running. Ooh, and here comes the question of the hour. What are our chances to be banished? Only 5%. Okay, that's not too bad. I will gladly take that. Let's kill our friend there just to try and ensure that we don't get marked here while we're in the middle of combat. Do hate how many Yaktars we're seeing, but it's not the end of the world as we managed to get through in one piece. Heck yeah. Hey, Nero Activo. This is 0.29, so it's almost the latest release. I think there was a patch, so I think there is a 0.29.1 or whatever, what have you. But we're currently in 0.29 and hoping to get our first win of the version here. Fortunately, Yaktars don't have the same speed as their horse-themed friends, so we can kind of just run away from these sons of guns, at least temporarily there, and find a slightly better position to face them from. I love that we're seeing all of the random orc minions coming around now, because Saint Roga, of course, already finished off. Got separated from the pack a little bit. But let's see. Could replace our regen amulet with a spirit guard one that has resistance to negative and resist corrosion with a sprinkling of intelligence on top. It's not bad. I'll maybe mark it to think about. Don't love Spirit Guardian on a character like this where we're very much reliant on having as much mana as we do at any given opportunity. We definitely would prefer not to not have enough magic to replenish our dragon form if it runs out in an inopportune moment. So there's that to at least take into consideration. Fortunately, the Sentinel's mark from that guard, not the end of the world. And geez Louise. Yep. Now that's about right. So, what can we do in the future for these Yaktar packs? Because this is going to be a consistent problem as we continue on. So we could use a blinking. Could use it just a fear to get out of this. Lean towards that, of course. But what can I do? There's not a heck of a lot. If we had something like Manifold Assault, we could go for a glass cannon damage race to hopefully finish them off before they get this sort of opportunity. But no matter how you slice it, it's going to be a little bit rough. Let's start off by reading Fear. Even if it didn't work out perfectly, we at least have our backup lives in our back pocket. But, oof. It's definitely a rough one. Oh wow, you followed me all this way. Well, if we could face you all when we're near corridors and doors, then it's not the end of the world, and I'm very happy to see it. In fact, if... Hello, friend? If you could notice me, please. Perfect. In fact, we'll just close this door on you here. Absolutely lovely. And we'll just keep it up here. try to keep these Sons of Guns in melee range as much as possible. Because then it's at least fairly manageable for us in dragon form once it's in our territory, our area of comfort. It's not the end of the world. But here's to not finding another Yaktar pack as we finish off the last little bit of this level. You know, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. No, not quite a pack, just a bit of a lone wolf hanging out there. And here I thought they do travel in herds. Hear a distant wind. I don't think for a moment that a Desolation of Salt is a good idea on this character, so we're just gonna pretend we didn't see that and ignore it completely for the time being here. Don't have any sort of real AoE, and a bunch of Thunder Hulks got called in by the Invoker. Okie dokie. In that case, we can head to a nice little zigzag like this here, and just let everyone come say hello one by one. See all the new faces. Hello, my friends. And that is pretty much ideal. Love to see it. At least we have electricity resistance, so it's not the end of the world to see all these Sons of Guns. We, of course, are marked now, so we're going to be quite popular with all of the monsters. Keep seeing new friends, new faces. Hello. Hello, one. Hello, all. And not too shabby at the end of the day here. In fact, if we can get marked in nice strategic zones like that, that's not the end of the world whatsoever. It is, in fact, probably preferable to a lot of the circumstances we find out here. Especially if the case is that it's another of those there Yaktar packs. Let's throw out a bog to just get some poison damage coming across the board. Make sure all of our new friends are hanging out in the sludge itself. Not too shabby. A Mighted Vault Warden is slightly terrifying, to say the least, but should be able to just make them chase us through the bog and get rid of them before it's too much of a problem. And in fact, we did end up being able to do so, so that is just lovely, just fantastic. And we don't see the Desolation of Salt once again. And perfect, not too bad. And how are we doing on the training? Up to 12.2 on Fire Magic, 36% failure rate on ignitions. That's falling fast now. Once that's online, we can start rethinking our decisions and where we wish to go. We might even be ready. You're sheltered from injuries. Okay. Again, learning all new icons. It's fun stuff. But should be slightly better off. Could maybe even head to Slime and try our hand at getting the 3rd rune before clearing up the rest of the ways here. This could be a heck of a lot of damage. So just try and wipe them out. Being next to 6 walls when one of those Sons of Guns starts creeping cold on you is not ideal, to say the least. Salt, indeed. That's the thing. On a personal level, I'd love to go to the Desolation of Salt. I'm an absolute sucker when it comes to salt. Basically, any instance of salt is a good instance of salt. There is no bad salt out there, because I am definitely just a savory, salty guy across the board, but a little bit less so when it's playing around and getting in your eyes, I guess. Okie dokie. It's funny, if we'd had Ignition, would I have gone for the Desolation of Salt? Because it at least would have given me slightly more of a belief in my abilities to do something there, do anything really. Because AoE is pretty much the name of the game when it comes to that region. But probably happy on the Felid to just leave it by the wayside for now. A lot of the treasure that would show up is going to be unusable by us anyway, so it's not exactly the greatest endorsement in order to tempt us to head that direction. Oh, and strange little ice theme in the middle of vaults. Hello, my friends. The rest of this should be fairly manageable. I don't love all the bogarts, so I'd like to take them out as quickly as possible. Hopefully they don't blink around too much and cause us a bunch of grief here. And this should be just about perfect. Jeez Louise, these Yaktars are going to be the end of me. Hopefully not. We're going to try our best to not allow that to become the case, but I do have some amount of concern, to say the least. At least this level seems to be a little more condensed, because in a case like this, we can take advantage of that in order to keep close, you know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, yada yada, all that good stuff. As we get sent down a shaft, well, that's definitely interesting in its own right. You can come into my lovely bog that we have sorted over here. Hopefully that will be enough to get through this without getting too much attention called our way. The Vault Sentinel there definitely was slightly worrisome, because if we got marked on a new floor with nothing explored, might have been the end of days there, but fortunately doesn't seem to be the end of the world here quite yet, just on its way to be such. Hello, hello, glowing shapeshifter zombie. Now, that's definitely an interesting enemy to come across. And my Yaktar friend, if you could come hang out here, and can definitely kill the Convoker before they call in any of their friends. That is just lovely. And again, Noxious Bog will hopefully save us a lot of the heavy lifting here. The things that are immune to poison, it seems like, will not be infected by the bog. Oh, dang it, there was a sentinel, so we now are marked. Oof, let's start with some ambrosia. Try to heal up a little bit as these sons of guns start crowding their way in. No matter how you slice it, it's not looking great. So you, my friend, can deal still, ooh, what is it, 2639 damage, even with lightning resistance. Slightly too much, unfortunately. I'm trying to wait out the mark here. I could drink a cancellation, I guess. We have actually a decent chunk of those. I'll lose dragon form, which probably puts me into one-shot range for the Thunder Hulk. Essentially, I want to wait till Mark is gone and then also potentially read a teleport. I guess I could just read a teleport and hope it lands us next to a stairs, and at the end of the day, we're just going to be fighting our way through until that point. But this seems like a slightly better place to make my final stand, at least. I mean, not ideal, but I think that ideal is not really in the cards for us at the moment, so here we are. At least slows down the incoming traffic a wee bit. Is there anything I can do here to potentially not lose one of our lives? I could try to paralyze you. Of course, it doesn't work, so that's a bit unfortunate. Then I'll just throw some contamination down. White Ugly Thing has to go immediately. Still looking like we might die. Oh no, right, feel it, extra lives? Yeah, so it's not the end of the world. Still not great. I was hoping to avoid significant loss of life here, but in fact, here's where I'm going to take a moment to debate this, because we chugged 1 heal wounds, and it did get us an extra kill, so that's not the end of the world. But do we maybe want to hold off spending any more resources here, just take the accepted loss of a life, try to move on from there? I think that potentially sounds like a decent option for us here. So you, my friend, let's check that again, 66% chance to hit me. You are 48. Let's try and kill this ugly thing real quick, shall we? What are your odds of hitting me? 72%. We could have tried for another teleport, and now that it's been, you know, over a full turn of me clawing away, kind of wish that I had just rolled the dice one last time on the teleport. But hey, here we are now, so let's just try to make it count, shall we? And if we can take out the ugly thing, which we do, that's a decent start. Now I'm really wishing I'd read a teleport. How are we still alive? You know what, let's do so. Perfect time and go down to 2 health. And there we go. We die. We get brought back in. in a slightly better spot. What I might do here is actually read magic mapping, and let's just try and find an upstairs, shall we? There's one up this direction. This was not the most ideal of shaft scenarios, so definitely okay with the loss of life, even though it's less than ideal. These things do happen. And let's try not to lose another immediately. Jeez Louise. Fortunately, we might, just because this son of a gun hitting us from afar is a bit of a pain in the rear. But I will drink my last heal wounds and immediately regret it. Is there any shot that I kill you, my friend? Not really. I guess hope that you miss. 60% chance to hit us. How many lives do we have? This will be our last extra life. So I was definitely not expecting to immediately come into danger zone again. Unfortunately, this scenario where blink isn't going to help us at all. I guess what are odds of paralyzing you? 31%? Is that better than surviving 2 turns? I think it is. 60% chance to hit us. Maybe we never didn't have it? Nope. And we die again. Okay, let's try and head out of here. Jeez Louise. Things are definitely going downhill at a rapid pace. Jeez Louise. Let's throw everything in the kitchen sink at the problem. Definitely bring out the friends here. Swap places with one of them. Then we can drink ambrosia to try and heal up a bit while our friends fight our battles. Jeez Louise. Please don't dodge incoming Arbalest bolts, my friends. If you could all just eat the damage, that would be just grand. Please and thank you. Well, there we go. At least our friends managed to get us out of that one in one piece, but we are a long way from the stairs, unfortunately. We could read another magic mapping and hope that there's something slightly closer than these sons of guns. But I'm not sure if there will be in the first place. So let's just try to slow it down as much as we possibly can here. And bring all of our friends out into slightly more manageable chunks. No Yaktars, please. Please and thank you. Ooh, also no sentinel marks, maybe, while we're at it. You know, if I'm asking for favors here. What did I just say, game? Well, in this case, we're gonna chug cancellation immediately. Then I'm gonna run this direction, potentially lose the buddies that were starting to head towards us, or not at all, never mind. Well, let's just close this door. Ooh, geez Louise, how much health do you have? 30 left. Am I better off taking a slash, or just going for the irradiate? Unfortunately, no matter how we cut this, there were walls next to us, so it was less than ideal, shall we say. Is this how we lose it all here on Shakespeare? Overconfidence getting the best of me. A blink, again, doesn't do much for us in this circumstance, unfortunately. Even summoning and that kind of thing doesn't quite get the job done. 31% chance to paralyze you. I mean, should we just flip the 3-sided coin again and hope we get a slightly better result? Let's go for it. Nope, turns out I should have attacked. Gosh darn it. Will I ever learn? Do we go again? I mean, 1 in 3 is pretty much what we're seeing there. Ah, jeez. Not in a great decision-making mindset today, so maybe it's fitting that Shakespeare immediately is running into some troubles. In some of these encounters that we just went through, using haste was probably also a decent idea, nice and early on in the encounters to get through them a little bit more safely. But hindsight, of course, is 20/20. So for now, think I will just try and irradiate you. I hope you die. Never didn't have it, of course. I'm not scared. You're scared. Let's head this way, shall we? Let's just head right for some stairs here. Then we can rethink all of the decisions that have brought us to this point. You know what? That's not even the right direction to get to the stairs. There we go. Okie dokie. So, most of our resources down the drain. No extra lives available. On top of that, because we lost them in such rapid succession, our experience level has gone down quite a bit. Which means less overall health, of course. Things are starting to heat up. We're just about ready for ignition. Yeah, we did have summon in Blink Scuzo, but unfortunately nothing... The Blink wouldn't get us out of sight range, and I felt like one more Creeping Cold was the end. And I think Creeping Cold, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like a smite targeted ability, because it comes in from the walls. So I was worried that no matter what we did there, we were at death's door, so I'm glad to just take the shot and try to sort it out. And hey, we rolled the right numbers that time around at the very least. But okie dokie, what can we do instead of this heckle? Could try for a little bit of slime action, see how that goes. Can't imagine it's going to go a heck of a lot better. There's Crypt. Which, I mean, Torment isn't quite as dangerous as it usually is because of our ridiculously low hit points regardless. Unfortunately, nothing's feeling that ideal. We could head back to the entrance to Depths and let's just remind ourselves as to how things were looking on that side of it. I believe we had quite the welcoming crew. We did. First time Felid, I would love to have a positive response, but we're in a bit of a rough spot at the moment. Well, I'll tell you in about 2 minutes. Which, of course, is just me sowing a bit of doubt into the audience for, you know, stakes and drama. I, of course, have no concerns and know for a fact that we are going to get through this in one piece. Even if this almost kills us. Almost being the operative word. Not quite as bad as I was expecting, to be honest, but still less than ideal. And jeez Louise. Okie dokie. Both the dragons aren't too bad. We have a lot of fire resistance, so I'm not too worried about the red dragon, but it all adds up real fast when you're just over 100 HP, even well in dragon form. So what are we gonna do with our friends here? Do I dare jumping in once more to the breach? We could drink a preliminary haste to try and ensure that we can at least clear the entrance here, after which maybe it'll be a bit more manageable. Let's try it out. So let's start with the haste. Try and get a few of these sons of guns hit at once. Fortunately, all of them are lined up in just the perfect way to not allow that to be the case. That is unfortunate to say the least, but this is slightly better with the lightning bolt hitting at least some of the problem children here. But let's bring you upstairs, my friend. Then just a fire giant, and the ice dragon, of course. So, can I chain blink my way out of here? I think I might be able to, especially with haste, because if I just blink to here, oh, the fire giant might be able to just, I guess, lob bolt of fire at us. Or a fireball, because fireball is undodgeable. Is there anything I can do here? I could berserk, I guess. Gives us a little bit of extra health. We're already fast. But try to use that extra damage to just murder everyone in the room with us. No great options, unfortunately. Alternatively, if I just cross my fingers and hope we survive a turn with with this 72% chance to hit us, and this 58% chance to hit us multiple times, then we could hope that a Scroll of Summoning or something to that effect does the job. Though unfortunately Bolt of Fire, I believe, is piercing, so bodies aren't going to be the saviors that we need at the moment here. So, anything else? Let's open up our inventory to just get the full purview here, the full overview of the situation. That 2 blink is very tempting to try and salvage what's left of this. I guess Fireball could just roll low, and we have at least the 2 pips of fire resistance, so there's a chance that this hits for relatively little. Only 19 health. Feeling a bit sketchy. You know what, let's try it out though. We'll start with that. Okay, we might have survived this. Unfortunately used up all of our resources to do so. But it's something. Can drag this out for just slightly longer. Maybe, just maybe, recover a wee bit here. And there we go. Fantastic. Oof, oof, oof. So if we take another peek. Now I don't think that that's true. I feel like we left some scary friendlies behind there. I mean, Ignition is really close to castable. We would have to, at this point in time, forget something. Potentially even 2 somethings. Fulminant Prism not really being used anymore. IMB. There were probably some situations where IMB would have been an option to potentially save ourselves some damage, but I kind of forgot we had it. Alternatively, we could say that Noxious Bog has done its job valiantly and replace it with something else in the AoE department. And I'm very tempted with that. Pretty close to a level up here. But regardless, let's read Amnesia. We could forget Magic Dart, and then we're still 1 short. It's between Magic Dart, IMB, and Noxious Bog. Or maybe we will actually just get rid of Fulminant Prism for the time being here. Let's learn Ignition. Not sure if it will be quite enough to save our skin. And let's go potentially almost die again, shall we? Yep. That's definitely a wee bit rough. And I'm not so hot on the idea of going back down there. The double Frost Giants in particular are going to be a bit of a problematic situation. 104 health, those bolts of cold are going to be hitting like a truck. I guess we could drink a potion of resistance. Again, at the risk of potentially using up too many of our resources just to survive these tiny encounters. But at the end of the day, if the alternative is just dying, then maybe that's not the end of the world. So let's bring you 2 upstairs. Deal some nice collateral with the Radiate. Radiate ourselves a little bit more than I wanted to, but that's not the end of the world. And still technically alive, so that's, I guess, kind of nice. We'll just use Lightning Bolt from afar to try and take care of this son of a gun. But there, have we finally gotten our foothold? Maybe more of a toehold if we're being honest, but it's something, at least. I'm beginning to believe. And then, okie dokie, if you could just come right this way, my friend. Shoot. Divine Tomes, you cast Smites. That's not the end of the world. At least it's not cold damage. So that's nice. Don't exactly have a lot of health to work with here to make this possible, but well, let's just put up some bogs. try to kill our frosty friend as soon as possible is what I was gonna say. Well, this might be it for Shakespeare. If I had to hazard a guess. It's definitely not an ideal situation. I don't think I can silence you. No, affected by anti-magic but not silence. That's a bit of a shame. I mean, I can kill the giant. With Irradiate, that's almost guaranteed. Mixed with the triple poison. Unfortunately, a single one of these smites is going to be the end of it for us here. So, unfortunately, what this all boils down to is this might just be the end here. The smite ones are all going to be targeted, so can't bring up bodies to try and prevent any issues. You can't see invisible, but I'm not sure if that really matters at this stage. Oof. This has been a slow and steady decline, unfortunately. And I'm not sure if there's anything we can do about it. Ambrosia would heal us. I guess if we were confident that the poison would kill the frost giant, which we're not, then I could try and chug Ambrosia and hope that it gives us enough health to live one smite. Then do I kill the book? I don't think so. So maybe not the be-all end-all. But hey, I mean, this is kind of what Felids are all about. We did die 5 times on the way here, so if we'd managed to avoid that, we would have been level 22. Feeling a lot more confident. Maybe not quite that high, since it is an increasing amount of experience at each level, but, you know, even if we were at level 20 right now, that would have been a decent chunk of change in regards to our own survivability. Let's potentially go out with a bang, shall we? 1 health. Well, kill you. I hate that it gave me the slightest smidgen of hope. Right, unfortunately 2 Berserk to quaff, otherwise I'd go with invisibility to potentially see if that did anything for us. As is, I think I'm just gonna have to take a step forward, and that's gonna be that. Never mind. Never say die. I'm a god gamer, and it was easy, really, if you ask me. I don't see why people don't just do exactly what I did in that situation more often. I mean, people say this game is hard. Oh, geez. Exactly, current knife. Fully calculated. Never a doubt in my mind, of course. I hope that there was some in yours, though. Again, we do it for the drama, for the people at home. Make sure that we keep things nice and interesting, eh? Definitely no level of incompetence involved whatsoever, which you love to see. So we'll learn nothing from our mistakes and just get right back on the road here, get back in the saddle, and see if we can't maybe perform a little bit better. We now have Ignition very much in a castable state, so I do love to see that. Condense Your Vein, also very happy with. In fact, let's set Fire Magic to something like 177, of course. No, 17. There we go. Easy indeed. And then I might want to start training some evocations here. Not a lot, but just enough so that we can use all of these lovely evocables that we've gotten under our control here to their best extent. And okie dokie, once more back on the road, and hopefully to much better effect this time around. That's the plan. That's the dream, at least. And getting through the first level of vaults is just the first step in that regard to go in that direction. Okie dokie. Never say die. Ooh. Caravan. Have a decent amount of money at my disposal, too. I could get these Tengu to just come one by one here. With these two, we can just bring them both up. That should be perfect. And let's actually do a quick magic mapping. And how are we looking? Ooh, there are lots of gates everywhere. Oh gosh, how am I supposed to know? Which one is the one true king? Well, I guess we can start by just exploring all these stairs and seeing. This one's, yeah, a little bit closer, so I like that. Ooh, our stairwell is in bog territory. I don't like that quite as much. This is where having a bit of a greater understanding as to how caravans always spawn might be helpful. Is that a caravan or a shop? Caravan or a shop? Maybe it's just this unassuming one down here. This seems like a shop to me. This one as well. This one looks like a gate. Yeah, that's actually definitely like a pan gate or something. So do you want, maybe I'd assume this one up here is our man's. Not quite sure how accurate that is, but I do know that we can take just our end friend upstairs, and that's slightly preferable to the chaos that we are seeing already in that situation. Similarly, bring you upstairs, and then let's start walking our way on over. Oh, jeez, that was a Juggernaut Simulacrum. After all of that, I take... I mean, I'm assuming we're at like 90-something health, so over 100 damage most likely. Well, that sucks. But hey, that's all part of the game here, of course, and especially part of the game when we're playing Felids. I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time that we see something like this happen, but poor old Shakespeare, I knew him well. There we go, up to 45. You did your best. Let's try next time to maybe hold a few more of our lives in reserve, maybe have enough firepower to get through this later stage of the game in one piece. And thanks for listening, I appreciate it. There's Shakespeare down and out for the count. We do, of course, still have, oops, Neil Patrick Harris, and that's who will be heading into the dungeon next here. However, I'm going to take a brief break here, and I'm just going to run out and pour a food bowl for my doggo, and then we'll jump into it and see if we can't have a bit better luck this time around. Don't go anywhere, and I'll see you in just a